that's the worst is people will say, where do you get your ideas? I don't know where I get them. You know, and if I did, man, would I tell you? I mean, Jesus, they've been good to me. All I know is that I sit down and I turn on the machine, and there's always that first 10 minutes that's like smelling a dead fish or walking into a monkey house. And then something will click a little tiny bit, and that leads to something else. And it's like until it's going faster and faster. And then you hit this kind of escape velocity. You're gone. The world, the normal, mundane, sort of stupid world where you got to do the breakfast dishes and you got to make the beds, you know, and you got to worry about getting the kid to the dentist. All that's gone.
In the horror genre, there are only 3 or 4 really good ideas, and we've all done them before, and it's really, okay, I mean, like, how many times in your life have you eaten eggs? But there's always a new way to fix eggs, and, you know, I look at it that way. You can always find a new way to do it. I think that there are as many ideas as there are sort of probing, talented minds to explore those ideas. People will say, do you keep a notebook? And the answer is, I think a writer's notebook is the best way in the world to immortalize bad ideas. My idea about a good idea is one that sticks around and sticks around and sticks around. It's like, to me, it's like if you were to put breadcrumbs in a strainer and shake it, which is what the passage of time is for me. It's like shaking a strainer. All this stuff that's not very big and not very important just kind of dissolves and falls out. But the good stuff stays. You know, the big pieces stay. A lot of times when people come to see me, they want to see if I'm really f***ed up. Here's the thing, okay? A lot of times, if you're recording all this, you're going to have to bleep it because I have to be who I am. A lot of times, you know, when I do these interviews, they'll ask you questions and they'll say, what was your childhood like? And I no longer brook that question. I just tell the interviewer, what you want to know is what traumatized me so badly that I write this creepy shit. The answer is nothing. Nothing that I remember anyway, but of course, I wouldn't tell you anyway. The best description of writing a novel that I ever heard was actually in Thomas Williams's book, The Hair of Harold Drew, which is about a novelist trying to write a novel, and it just covers like 1 or 2 days in this process, and a lot of things happen to him. It's a fabulous book. But he says that writing a novel is like building a little campfire on an empty, dark plain, and one by one, these characters come out of the dark, and each one has a little pile of wood, and they put it on the fire, and if you're very lucky, before the fire goes out, it's this big bonfire, and all the characters stand around it and warm themselves. And that's the way it's always been for me. A little while later, I wrote a book called The Shining, and it was my 3rd book, and I got contractual rights to write the first draft screenplay for that. And I did do that, and I found out later that Stanley Kubrick, who had got the rights through Warner Brothers, had already determined that he and a lady named Diane Johnson were going to do the screenplay for The Shining. So they basically my screenplay went in and they said, no, this won't do, and then they went on to what they really wanted to do, which was fine. I wasn't angry or upset. You're not, after a while. You get thousands of rejection slips before you break through. You kind of get used to that, and it's just part of the game. But the thing is, you learn little by little. And here's a secret I learned 6 summers ago, lying in a ditch beside the road, covered in my own blood, and thinking that I was gonna die. You go out broke. Everything's on loan anyway. You're not an owner, you're only a steward. So pass some of it on. You may not have much now, but you're gonna have a lot. And when you do, remember the ones who don't have anything. I've always thought that it was a terrific job, and I've always felt very, very fortunate, blessed really, to be able to do it. Because I do it for free if I couldn't do it for money, but I love doing it for money. That sounds kind of nasty, doesn't it? I love doing it for money. I think that if you spend too much time worrying about what the audience is going to like, that they're not going to like anything that you do. I just look for ideas that I really enjoy, something that I really want to live with for a while, like the story about the people under the dome. And I get into it most of the time, and then I just have a ball. I never finished a book and felt like I'm glad that's done. I usually finish a book and say, geez, I don't want to say goodbye to these people. And if the people who read it feel the same way, then I'm really happy.